Hello, I would like to I'm just going to make a quick video and run through 10 ways to lower your blood pressure that I found on the internet. I'm not a doctor. You can find my sources beneath the video that I use for information in the links underneath the video. I tried to favor sources like Ben Greenfield, Mark Sisson, Mercola, Dr. Sinatra, Chris Kresser, Dr. Thomas Cohen, Dr. Axe, Chris Masterjohn. Several of these are doctors, or they have advanced degrees in specialized areas related to this. So I tried to use quality sources, but I'm no expert, and you need to do research for yourself as well. The first method to lower your blood pressure is to control your insulin. So you need to watch your breads, pastas, rice, cereals, and even fruits. It is shown that a ketogenic diet is, if you don't have stuff that, with glucose in it, then your body's not going to need to produce as much insulin. So a ketogenic diet would certainly help to control the insulin, but avoiding fast carbs and processed foods are a good start. Okay, number 2, get exercise. All right, some ideas are the 7-minute workout. I have a video for that. You're really supposed to do like 3 circuits of it, but you can work up to 3 circuits, do 1 and then, or even do some of 1, and then work your way up. I'll link the 7-minute workout, which is scientifically shown to have benefits. Also a good one is the C2 5K, or Couch to 5K. It's basically intervals where you walk and run. But I mean, hey, even if you're in a wheelchair, you can wheel the chair slow and wheel the chair fast, right? So, or if you have a walker, you can use your walker slow and use your walker fast, right? So a Couch to 5K, I would think, could be done by just about anybody. Of course, clear anything you do with a doctor. Of course, for longer hikes and walks are nice too. They probably reduce stress as well, which is something else that would help your blood pressure. Which brings us to the next one, and that is to lower your stress. Some ideas are to get adequate sleep. I believe it's best to sleep during the night. Probably to go to bed fairly early for various reasons. And sleep at least, I think, about 7 to 9 hours. I think that's what they say. You could check that yourself. Quiet music and prayer and meditation are various things that people have suggested to lower your stress and improve your blood pressure. I do know that meditation should also help your cellular health, that there's a connection between that and your telomeres. You could look into that as well. The most controversial one on my list is probably vitamin D. And CoQ10 is not as controversial. Vitamin D should probably be in the form D3, by the way. And they say it should be taken with vitamin K2. I'll link a research article, an abstract from it, that suggests that depending on how much you weigh for vitamin D, the safe and approved levels by that research, and you can go look at it yourself and make a decision, is 1885 IUs for normal individuals, 2,802 for overweight, and 6,235 for overweight. Now, I'm overweight, but I will probably shoot for around 2,000 IUs of vitamin D. Chris Masterjohn suggests about 100 to 200 micrograms of vitamin K2 per day. There's apparently the MK4 is not as stable. The MK7 is more stable and convertible by us to the MK4. So I think those are the most common forms that you would prefer to get. You know, natural sun is probably the best source for vitamin D, but I'm pretty sure the further north you get, the less vitamin D you have from the equator, or the further you get from the equator. And so supplementation suggested, especially in the wintertime, right? So they think vitamin D might help with lowering your blood pressure, but there is some research contrary to that. But in any case, we know vitamin D is suggested by several groups for your health. Vitamin CoQ10 is much less questionable than vitamin D3. It is the #1 supplement that's recommended by cardiologists to patients. So if you want something for your heart health, apparently CoQ10 is the way to go in a supplement form. So you can check Dr. Mercola's website to see about that. Again, I'll try and link the articles below. His site has a suggestion that if you're starting out with ubiquinol for CoQ10, to start with 200 to 300 milligrams a day. And when I read it, they seem to say that the amount that we have levels off after about 3 weeks. And the implication is that it seemed to me that we should drop the amount to 100 to 150 milligrams per day after that. But like, I just go check that stuff yourself. I'm not a doctor. This is just what I'm reading off the internet. And I'll give you the links again. Omega-3. I know for a fact that our diet is a little too high in omega-6 and too low in omega-3. Omega-3 tends to be anti-inflammatory. They suggest that it also will contribute to a lower blood pressure. Probably the best sources are like cold water fish, but you have other concerns with these fish, like what things they pick up in the oceans, like lead and whatever else. Also, grass-fed and pastured meats, traditional animals, as opposed to ones mass-produced, tend to be higher in omega-3 also. So by the way, if you look into it, the implication is that our original diet was originally about 50% omega-6 and a 50% omega-3. In other words, that it was a lot more balanced with the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. So these, factory-produced, grain-fed animals, and I say factory-produced, they're mass-produced, tend to be a lot lower in omega-3s, which could be part of the reason for our medical problems. After all, if you look in the Bible, it says our years are 70, or 80 by reason of strength. So apparently people were living to 70 or 80 years old thousands of years ago. So it doesn't seem like we've improved, and I think part of the problem is just our diet. There are supplements that have omega-3, like fish oil and krill oil. But I think you have to be careful with this for how much good omega-3 they retain. I believe the flaxseed has a problem because it hasn't been converted to as usable a form for human beings. So I would stick with the fish and the krill oil sources if you're going to go that way, and do research into that to see which are the best sources. You probably want to refrigerate them, but look into that. And I don't think you can go too high on the dosage for these, considering how low our diet is in omega-3s. The next one is beetroot juice, which I think the point of that is the NO3 or the nitrates that it contributes to, which I think dilates our vessels and stuff. So there are different sources that contribute to that. If you're a bodybuilder, you know about this probably. Try a cup a day of a good quality juice. So I would think that would be like pressed, like cold pressed maybe, and maybe organic. So those are just my guesses, what I'm going to be looking for. Some other things that might improve the level of NO3 and nitrates are celery, dill, parsley, spinach, turnips, eggplant, string beans, carrots. I believe all those would make a contribution. And I'll try and let you know what I do over the next couple of days in the comments. The seventh one is garlic. I think the idea here is that it contains allicin, which should be beneficial and lower your blood pressure. I think garlic powder may be usable. Also, onions, shallots, leeks, chives, and spring onions should all also contain allicin. So you want to try and work garlic into your diet to help lower your blood pressure. Weight control. So this is a humongous topic. It's too big a topic. But a good start is just eating right. Eating traditional diets, healthy foods, whole foods, not processed foods. There is some demonstrated benefits to intermittent fasting, so you should probably do a little research into that. You might also want to look into the ketogenic diets, the primal diets, the paleo diets, and again, just traditional diets are better than the SAD, the standard American diet, the SAD diet. Number 9, to help lower your blood pressure, is to have the sodium and potassium in the right ratios. Now, somebody on a ketogenic diet, if you didn't know it, the body actually dumps the salt on a ketogenic diet, from what I understand. You might do a little research into that. But you do want to maintain a sodium and potassium balance in your diet. So you want to cut out the processed foods, cured meats, salty cheeses, mostly. Potatoes would be better than rice because they're higher in potassium. So you want to make improved choices on what you eat. Watch out for what kind of salt you use. I read somewhere that they found that a lot of salts that you get contain microplastics. So you're going to have to probably do a little research into added salt. I like the pink salt, but you want to do research into what salts are the best quality and have the least amount of things like microplastics. I like pink salt because it has other things in there that your body needs. Mark Sisson suggests that you get about 5 parts potassium to 1 part salt in your diet. And he also suggests that fructose, that's fruits and all that stuff, and fructose added to your foods will increase the salt retention in the kidneys and hence increase your blood pressure. So that was interesting that I read on Mark Sisson's site. I'll try and have the link in my comments again. And the 10th one is hibiscus tea. So I don't know. I didn't know much about that. It was a surprise to me. But I did see in some of the articles that there was some research to support that this does lower blood pressure, and the suggested amount is about 2 to 3 cups per day. By the way, from what I also saw, hibiscus tea is used in folk medicines. I think it's used by like in traditional medicine, Iran maybe, and Africa and some other places. So you might look into hibiscus tea to lower your blood pressure as well. Okay, so those are the 10 items. Insulin, exercise, lower stress, vitamin D, CoQ10, omega-3, beetroot juice, garlic, weight control, salt, and hibiscus tea. So for my little n=1 or personal experiment, I'm going to try this list. This video will remind me of those 10 items. And in the comments for the video, I'll use the Higgy station to check my blood pressure and pulse and weight. Those are in a lot of the Sam's Clubs, and some of the pharmacies have the Higgy stations that are free to check your blood pressure, temperature, and pulse. And there's an app that you can get on your phone. And you can, if you have a login for the Higgy, it will store your vital signs for you. So I'll use the Higgy, and I'll try these steps today, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. And, we'll see what happens for a short 4-day test. Thank you for listening, and I hope this helps you be more healthy. God bless.